What's up, guys? Today we're back on a Mustang again. Fuel tank. This one still had, I don't know how many gallons of fuel. I think it's probably like quarter tank for 15 years, 14, 15 years. Not ideal, smells terrible. I bought a new tank. Pretty cool new tank. Not a factory style tank, but it bolts in the factory location. So we're gonna get this one out. We're gonna see how the new one fits. Should be pretty straightforward. There's just a bunch of like kind of sheet metal screws around the perimeter of the flange. It lifts out from the trunk. This one doesn't have a drain plug on it. I could pull the sending unit, but if I could leave some fuel in the tank, that'd be ideal. But the sending unit's at the bottom here, and the pickup. So I'm gonna cut the hose, and then we're gonna drain it in the bucket and see just how much comes out. Hopefully there's not any more than 5 gallons, but we shall see. Very nice. A little bit out of that hose. Probably gonna leak some out of the tank when I lift it out of the car, but y'all can't smell that, but that is some really terrible fuel. It's like, it's gold. Those that know, but when you got gold fuel, ain't no good. All right, let's go down. We'll get the trunk tore apart. All right, let's get the spare tire out. Spare tire was made in the 39th week of the year 2000. It even says made in USA on it. It's wild. I'm not sure if I'm gonna put the spare tire back in. I might. Don't know yet. Wow, look how clean that looks. There's a little bit of rust down in here. It's not rusted through yet, but you can definitely tell there was a restoration at some point. I'm so glad that is not like crazy stuck. All right, there's our fuel tank. We need to try to get the fuel filler out. Oh, I didn't disconnect the wire down there. I'm just gonna cut it because we got to redo that anyways. Okay. Those look like 3/8 or 7/16 bolts. These are about the same. .3/8 and 5/16. And then a 7/16 nut holding on our safety cable here. I have a Shelby style like gas cap we might put on there. I'm not sure yet. The new tank has a different filler, so we might have to get a little creative there. looks like a 1/2 inch. Okay. Have to work around and get this rubber freed up. Oh yeah, it's just brittle. Oh, there's no fuel in it. It's literally like, oh, that's absolutely terrible. There was gonna be no way we were gonna save that. Like, absolutely zero. Look at that mess. It's just caked on out in there. That's why it sounded like it had fuel in it. It didn't have that hollow sound. It's got an inch of dirt and gunk. I was really hoping they did not have I was hoping they didn't have that like crazy glued down. All right, so now that we got that done, I'm gonna go ahead and scrape off some of this junk down in here. Let's go take a look at what we got. So, factory tank, 16 gallons. I was able to score this really sweet, fuel safe 22 gallon. Brand new, never had fuel in it. Got a heck of a deal. So this is a bladder style tank, which means, well, you'll see in a minute. I'm gonna take these bolts out. Well, we're gonna take the bolts out because the bolts actually they sandwich this together, but also sandwich it into the fuel, into the body. But this is a bladder style tank, meaning when the bladder needs to be replaced, which this one is technically out of date for racing purposes, but it should still hold fuel. I took it all apart before I bought it. It looks really nice. I don't plan on really racing this in any sanctioned events, so we should be fine. But I'm gonna pop all those bolts out real quick so that we can stick it in the car and we can just see what we're working with. Supposed to be a drop-in for a 64 to 70 Mustang. About to find out how true that is. Nice. So it's taller. Below our trunk floor here. It's a little bit above the trunk floor there. Not that big of a deal. I think the only thing that's going to be a little interesting is this is designed to be, they made two options. You can buy these two options. You can buy it with like, I think they call this the direct fill, and then you can buy it with a remote fill. I don't want to fill this hole. I'd rather, since they're so close together, I'd rather not have to like open the trunk, move stuff around, and have gas in the trunk. I think that's kind of dumb. So I'm gonna need to adapt this to that. The good news is this plate here is actually steel. It's not aluminum, so because my phone magnet sticks to it. Which, if it was aluminum, it's not that big a deal, but I'm much better at welding steel. So I think I can we can pull this plate off the bladder. And then I think I can cut this inlet pipe off. And then we can adapt this to that. This is kind of off-center just a little bit, which is strange. I'm not real sure I think the whole fuel tank is off center. I don't know, it's kind of strange, but we're definitely gonna have to sort that out. From underneath and behind, the thing looks factory like. It's nice and even with the panel there. Doesn't hang down below the rear end or nothing. Looks real nice. Overall, I'm pretty happy with that though. I think that's gonna be sweet. And for a road trip and all that, some more fuel would be better. And this should be way better for autocross style because it's got foam in the bladder. Which I guess you could put foam in the regular tank too, but yeah, I think what it is there's more room here than there is here. So it's like the whole pocket is shifted over, which is kind of strange. I've never really noticed that. This is gonna be a project for another day. I don't want to mess with this tube. This tube's real nasty and like rusty. I can clean it up, but I would rather just buy a new one. That way I can modify a fresh tube and we can make that work. So we're gonna do that on a later video as I gather the parts. But today I really just wanted to show you guys what I got. Make sure it fits in there. That's gonna be it for today. Short, quick video. Hope you guys enjoyed it, and we'll see you on the next one. Thanks for stopping by. Alright, I said this was going to be another video, but I have delayed posting and editing this video, so we're just going to go ahead and throw this in at the end of it and make it kind of complete. I got a new tube, I got a new coupler hose. We need to try to figure out how to connect filler into the tank. I have a few different ideas, but nothing really set in stone, I guess. We're close, but we're just not quite there. We're gonna need more than a 45 though. I cut this filler off flush with the plate. Then I cut this tube somewhere in here. We kind of angle the tube, weld it straight to that plate, and then we just have the coupler in between. I feel like that might work. Piece of cardboard over that just to keep the dust and junk from out of there. Okay, we're about to go to the point of no return here. I'm going to take this flap off. I guess let's just look at something here. If we put this alright, y'all picking up what I'm putting down here? That needs to be there. This is going to be here. Kind of thinking cut that somewhere in there. We can push that further down. We may have to trim off here a little bit. Can't really screw nothing up. Worst case, we got to buy this, or we could buy a new tube. I probably should have bought 2 tubes. I guess we could maybe clean this one up. She's pretty nasty though. Alright, I'm going to pull these 2 fittings out of here and then probably go put this in the bandsaw and try to cut that nice and straight. Okay, I went to set up the bandsaw, both the little porta band on the table and the big one, and I clearly was not thinking, because there's no way this is going to fit in either one. So we're just going to have to death wheel off the weld and go from there. Okay, we need to go cut that, I'm thinking. We may need to cut it further back. Cut it up in here. Then we can section it and move it down. Okay, let me go cut that real quick and be back. Throw a couple screws in here just to lock it down. Kind of thinking if we oval this a little bit, it'll allow us to roll this back. But really we need to roll it back and also kind of gain some, I don't know. We need to go down a little bit, and then we need to angle the tube back, which we can't bend the tube, but I do think we can oval this plate enough to make it work. All right, so I've just been back and forth with the die grinder, trying to take a little bit out at the bottom here to get this to settle back down. I had a little bit of gap right there, but I'm not too worried about that. I do think it fits pretty nice. It's not perfectly level. But I think it's okay. Now the tricky part is I don't want to bring the welder over here and tack weld this in place. That would not be good. Even though we're going to TIG weld it, I don't want to try to do that. So I'm going to clean the paint off of this pipe right here. We're going to fit it down in there, put us a couple Sharpie marks and a line around it, and then we'll take it over to the table, tack weld it in a couple spots, and just come back over here and check it however many times we need to until it looks good. Alright, got it cleaned up. I guess this is like powder coat, and it's powdered on the inside too, so it's not going to be real fun. Went ahead and bead rolled this side so that we got something good to stick our hose onto. I'll do the other side after we get it tacked in here. I'm just going to put a line on both sides. Basically a reference line. And we'll put a little line right here. All right, let's go over to the welding table and get that tacked up. I need to grind a little bit more off there. We're back into the paint, so let me knock that out real quick. Okay, let's see if it'll work. I like it. All right. Now we just got to weld it out, and then we'll come in and trim that little bit of excess. You can try to get that perfect, but I find it easier to just weld it like this, and then we can smooth and clean that up, and then we'll probably stitch weld the inside just to make sure it's solid. Put a few tack welds and make sure it's locked in. Well, I would say that's a success. Looks like it's in there. I don't know that this fuel cap is correct. There's a gap back behind here. I'm not sure. I think this is, I don't know. This is like a Shelby style, so maybe the Shelby style has kind of a recessed. I'm not real sure, but I do like that better than the twist off cap, wherever that went. Yeah, it looks way better than this, in my opinion. But I think that's gonna be a wrap.